Hey guys, Larry Ringer here with the Larry Ringer Show, and today we have a special guest, Oliver Twist, who doesn't know anything about his past or his family. Please help me welcome Oliver.
Hello, Larry.
Hey Oliver, so you don't know much about your past, so tell me what you do know about it.
Okay, well, I don't know where I was born, but I do remember that I went to a baby farm first. The conditions there were less than adequate, plus the lady who ran the baby farm was also pretty awful to me. She seemed to use the money more on herself than the care that we needed. After that, I was moved to a place with the Sourberries, who basically gave me a job, and I was supposed to help with funerals. And I was basically called an ingrate there, even though I was under terrible conditions as well. And so I ran off.
So that was your first job at Sourberries with the funeral home?
Yeah, and I barely had any food as it was.
Alright, so now, next, you ran off. So, what happened when you ran off? Did you meet anybody else that was nice to you, or awful, or anything?
I was basically mocked along the way to London, but as soon as I got there, I was taken in by some people. The main one was named Fagin. There he clothed me and gave me food, but they made me do some pretty awful jobs, and one of them, I got arrested.
You got arrested? What did you do to get arrested from these people?
Well, basically we went off. Two people who were with me, kids my age, stole a handkerchief from a rich man, in which then I ran because I didn't want to get arrested, but I eventually in turn got blamed for it. I went into court, which was completely unfair. I had no voice in it whatsoever. But the man, Mr. Brownlow, who I robbed from, well, someone else robbed from, I was blamed for, I got free from the court because the other two were caught who were in it. And then he took me in for a night. And then the next day, I was planning to come back, but he gave me some books, which I had to return, plus a £5 note. And then I was met by a woman from Fagin's group I was under. Her name was Nancy. She basically kidnapped me back to Fagin and took my nice clothes, the books, and the money, and gave me back my old rags. And so eventually there was this one job we had to do, and it was pretty bad.
So did you like this Nancy person? Was she nice to you, or was she mean like the rest of the people?
Well, she was basically the only one I enjoyed because she stood up for me. I was beat, and then eventually she took the beatings for me. But going back to the job I was at, basically I was the only one small enough to go and steal from a house. And I just wasn't going to have it, so I was rather going to die than steal, so I went in there. I was going to tell them about people outside who were I was going to steal from, or people out there were going to steal from, and then I got shot out of nowhere, and then basically a man named Sykes, who had also been part of Fagin's group, came in and picked me up, and then, because I was shot, they threw me in a ditch.
What happened after you were in the ditch? Did anybody find you? Did they come back for you and capture you again? Or?
I blacked out, and then all I remember ever since is then I woke up. I was cared for by the Melees, which were the people I incidentally robbed from after I knocked on the door because I was bleeding out. I woke up, and then a doctor at Osborne was helping me, and the Melees have been taking care of me ever since.
Alright, so now we'll take a break, and we'll come back.
Are your shoes too dull? Are your shoes not to your neighbor's liking? Well, here at Warren Blackening Company, we have your solution. They shine black shoes, brown shoes, white boots, or even Crocs for those special people.
Ingesting or inhaling this product may cause a bathroom to become a public social event, transformation to DiCaprio or Danes. This McGarry will think you are Tommy, will be hissed at, paper will be thrown at you, a marker will hit you in the face, or a desk will be dropped upon you. Drinking it will not cause you to visit the homeland. It will, however, cause you to be left in a pub in London while Miss McGarry enjoys her meal with Dingo.
Walters Path investigation. You need someone found? I got you, boy. I got you.
with Nancy.
Hi, Barry. How are you?
It's Larry, but I'm well.
Are you sure it's not Harry or Jerry?
It's Larry!
Yeah.
It's Larry, okay.
Yeah, so how'd you guys meet Oliver?
Oliver is the most charming little boy. We found him on the streets, and we took him into our lovely little family and our great little home.
Who does this family consist of that you speak of?
Oh, just Fagin and Charlie and Dawkins and, you know, all those wonderful kinds of people.
So what did you guys do with Oliver?
Well, we raised him to be good people, just like us. But, you know, he wandered off one day and we had to go rescue him.
Did anybody help you rescue him?
Yes, my good friend Sykes.
Who is this Sykes?
Well, Sykes is a rather large man, and he can be a little rough around the edges.
Is he, do you know where he is today?
Well, I think he could be here. You never know, that's the funny thing. But, you know, you're here with me now.
Hey, she's mine. Move it.
I'm guessing you're Sykes.
Yeah,
How'd you meet Oliver?
I'm the one that trained him.
Trained him for anything special?
Just some special jobs.
What was he like to you?
He was a born devil.
Oh, you can't say that. Sykes.
Shut
He
your
was
mouth.
Wonderful. Sykes, you can't say that.
How dare you.
Security?
No.
Security? Oh. I do not know what happened there, but I guess we'll just leave that and welcome our next guest, Fagin. Hello, Fagin.
Hi.
So, how did you deal with Oliver?
Well, I'll start with how we found him. So, one of my associates, Dodger, found him on the streets of London, and we brought him in and we treated him like family. So we cared for him, we gave him clothes, we fed him, just the basics.
Was he nice to you guys?
Yes, he was pretty nice to us. He seemed to be very nice to Nancy, who was just in here.
Yeah. So you must have liked Nancy, I guess?
She's okay. She's good friends with Sykes.
Yeah, I can tell that was
Yeah.
a loving relationship, and I guess well, who's this friend that you know?
Well, there was someone in our group who really wanted Oliver. His name is Monks.
Is there monks here today? Is there monks out there? Anywhere? Monks? Monks? Oh, never mind. They were already up here. So, I'm guessing this is Monks.
Yes, it is.
So, Monks, how was your job with Oliver?
Well, I helped train Oliver.
How did you train him? Like, was there anything special you had to do? Was there anything difficult with him? Did he resist? Anything like that?
Well, to me, he was always a very special individual.
Special.
Yes.
Okay. We can put it that way. Well, we'll cut it now, and we'll go to a break.
Does your child need daycare? Remember, Mrs. Mann's Baby Farm is always open. We will treat your kids right and feed them well.
Like a good Christian, Bumble is there. With a prostitute. And gruel. And more. No!
We're now back with Mr. Brownlow and Rose, and they'll tell us their experiences with Oliver. So, Mr. Brownlow, what were your experiences?
Well, I first met Oliver while he was with his companions who were stealing my personal belongings. After someone yelled that he was a thief and he was chased down, we brought him to court. He fainted and was wrongly accused, and I brought him back to my house to help him out of his illness. I began to love him like a son. I gave him books to read, new clothes to wear, and money to spend. One evening, he left the house with all of these things, never to return to that house. I then left for the West Indies looking for a young gentleman who I had prior business with. And then once I returned, Oliver found me in the middle of the street, and I was shocked.
So, Rose, what were your experiences with Oliver?
Well, I actually found Oliver on my doorstep, and he was shot in the arm. And I decided, oh, this boy is sick, and he's ill,
and something must have terribly happened to him. And I took him in, come to find out, he tried to rob my house. And I suddenly fell in love with this boy as he was my brother, and that's where we are with him today.
And we'll be back after the break. Hey you right there, in the front row, wake up, cause I got a deal for you. Come to our pawn shop where everything is cheap, including this locket.
Do you feel lonely some nights? Do you need a pal? Well, I'm open all evenings and I can always make time for you.
And we're back with all our guests today, and they will give their reason to why Oliver should pick them to live with.
Oliver, remember all the fond memories we shared, all the books I gave you to read, all the money you had to spend in
No,
my house.
he came to my house. We found him. We took care of him.
No, I took care of him. You still know it was me all along.
But I'm his sister. I got him out of jail. I rescued him from Brownlow's house.
No,
I
you
took
didn't.
care of him.
You did not.
Yes, I did. No, I did. I did.
We're friends. We're friends. We're friends.
It's Rose. We're friends.
What? You're my brother? Yes! I'm your brother!
But I'm his aunt.
No! He's my
No,
brother!
he's mine. He belongs with us.
You're
Come
Rose?
here, Oliver.
I do belong with you.
It seems like Oliver has picked his family, Rose and Mr. Brown. And now, join us next week.
She's a prostitute. She's a hooker.